NATO's outgoing Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg at the three-day NATO Summit in Washington, D.C. affirmed that Ukraine is on an irreversible path to the NATO membership. NATO members who are favoring a faster membership track for Ukraine included the word irreversible in a joint declaration to demonstrate that Kyiv has moved closer to entry into the alliance since last year's summit. Speaking to reporters, Stoltenberg outlined the alliance's plans to aid Ukraine in the year ahead.
We will support Ukraine by planning and coordinating donations, and will manage the transfer and repair of equipment. We will also provide support to the long-term development of Ukraine's armed forces. This will not make NATO party to the conflict, but it will help Ukraine to uphold its right to self-defense.
Now, NATO pledged a $43 billion worth of military aid to Ukraine in 2025.
We have agreed that 40 billion euros is a minimum baseline within the next year, and to ensure sustainable funding for Ukraine to prevail. We also agreed to review this at our summit in 2025, not least to ensure it continues to meet Ukraine's needs. We are not doing this because we want to prolong a war. We are doing this because we want to end the war as soon as possible.
Now, in a big boost for Ukraine, the United States, the Netherlands and Denmark announced that the first NATO-provided F-16s were on their way to Kyiv. Following months of preparations, they would be flying this summer. Also during the summit, NATO gave a stern warning to China over its alleged assistance to Russia in the war against Ukraine. In a joint declaration, the 32-member military alliance squarely blamed Beijing for fueling Moscow's aggression against Kyiv. The joint declaration read, and I'm quoting here, "We call on the PRC, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council with a particular responsibility to uphold the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, to cease all material and political support to Russia's war effort." In response, China warned NATO against provoking confrontation and rivalry. A spokesperson for Beijing's mission to European Union said that the military alliance should stop hyping up the so-called China threat. He said, and I quote here, "It is known to all that China is not the creator of the Ukraine crisis. China's position on Ukraine is open and above board." Meanwhile, another familiar yet unpredictable challenge lies ahead of NATO, the possibility of another US administration led by Donald Trump. The Republican Party's nominee has consistently sent mixed signals about his commitment to collective defense. NATO members are seen as wanting to Trump-proof the military aid for Ukraine ahead of Trump's possible re-election. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.